So is everyone ready to start painting leaves? So what I've done is I have put a pattern on my canvas, and I just went to Google and I typed in the search engine Poinsettia outline, and I came up with this little pattern here. And what I did was I just placed it on my canvas here, and then I sketched in close to what the pattern was with mechanical pencil. And you can see some of the outlines here of the flower petals. So I have the leaves here at the bottom with a stem. And I want to show you how you can use this easy method of color book painting, is what I call it, or paint by number method, to where you block in your colors and then you fuse them together. You just blend them all together, and the only thing you need to pay attention to is where you're placing your colors. And that is easy to remember how to do, and it's a lot of fun because each time you would do this painting, your colors, you could block them in a little bit different, and it would totally look like a different type of painting. So what I did was I went ahead and laid out 3 different values of colors. I have the dark green, which is in the kit, a medium green, and a lighter green. All of these are in your kit. Then I used a medium yellow for a highlight, and I'll be using some Prussian blue for the deepest blue in the areas, the shadow tone. You can see some right here, and I'll use white once in a while for a little highlight, like what you see on the edges here. Then we have gray, and the stem is a burnt sienna, and I use some greens on the stem also. Now, the kit comes with this little brush here, and I didn't use this brush here because what I need is a brush that goes into a chisel edge whenever I put paint on it. And these brushes right here, they don't allow you to do a real strong chisel edge, but I'm going to show you what it's going to do. I'm going to go ahead and block in this leaf right here, this one. I'm just going to paint right over what I already have blocked in. I'm going to start with our dark color. So if I pick up a little bit of this Prussian blue, I usually start with my dark colors. And I want to put some dark up here because I have a flower petal coming a little bit over that, so you're going to have a little bit of a shadow there. So I can take this blue and I can just block in this blue color like that. Wipe my brush on a paper towel. Here's my paper towel here. Just wipe it on a paper towel. Do not go in your turp. And then pick up a darker green. So I'm going to pick up a little of that sap green, and I'm going to hold my brush this way. That way it's not going to cut into my paint. So when using these rougher brushes, you might want to turn your brush at an angle like this instead of like a pencil. That way the paint will lay right on the top there. Pick up a little bit more. I'm not picking up very much. Now I have some greens over here. I'm just laying color right on top of what I did here. Maybe a little bit of the sap green over here. I lost a little bit of bristle right there. Let's get rid of that. Now the other color is a lighter color. I'm going to pick up some of that color. And you can see how I'm just budding up that color right next to the one I just got finished doing. I'm blocking in this color. This is one of the easiest ways to do painting when you're a beginner, because you don't have to worry about learning how to do brush strokes or anything. You're just laying in color. You don't have to worry about getting everything perfect. So our lightest color, if my color's coming from this corner here, then my lightest color is going to be probably right on top of that. So let's pick up some yellow. In fact, I'm going to pick up yellow and a little bit of white for a lighter yellow. Okay. See how light that is? Let's pick up a little more. Maybe right on the top there. Alright. Now the only other color that I might want to lay in is a little bit of this blue down here. See, that's right at the tip, and that's going to be in shadow down here. Alright, we have our colors blocked in. Now when I wipe this brush off, I'm just taking this brush, putting it on the paper towel, and I'm pinching this, but I'm not going to pinch it while I pull on it. Sometimes that can loosen your ferrule area, and your glue will come undone there. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to fuse these colors together. Now I like to use a softer brush when I'm doing that, but we have these colors here that are the brushes we have in the kit. So again, turn your brush this way so that you're going to blend flat. Now when I'm blending, I like to start with a lighter color, because that way I don't have any dark on my brush when I go into the light. Okay, every once in a while, see, as your brush gets a little paint on it, you're going to have to wipe that off and come back and reblend that. I am just blending where the edges meet. Wipe your brush off. Try not to disturb the color that I already have on here. Keep wiping your brush off. In fact, I like to pick this up and keep it in my hand like that. See how it keeps that highlight? Now, blend these two together. That's where the two meet. Now here's that blue down here. I'm just kind of pipetting and blending that a little bit. All right. Okay. Now we have a nice blend on that. Now when you're doing a vein in here, like what I would do is go ahead and put the vein in, and I would just basically leave this leaf the way it is and maybe edge a little bit up there. But I don't think you're going to get a chisel edge off of this. I hate to say it, but I'm looking at this and I don't think it's going to do it. Well, let's try it. Okay, all right, there's a vein. Okay, it's fatter than what I want, so don't press real hard. It's wet under here, so you can go ahead and put your little veins like that, because it's cutting into the paint, so you don't really have to push real hard on that. Okay, so there's that. Let me wipe this off. And let me take that stem in there like that. Alright, so that would be your vein on there. Now if I wanted to come back and highlight some of these edges here, like I did right here, pick up a little bit of the white with a little bit of the yellow. I'm loading one side of the brush here. And then I'm going to touch right on the outside edge here. And I'm going to pull down. And just edge that. Pick up a little more color. I'm touching. I'm going to touch right here at the edge. Touch and pull. This is called an overstroke. That's if you want to fancy it up a little bit, but you don't have to. I'm just showing you a little something what I might do. Okay, here we go. And that can work on some of the edges. See how that makes that edge come out a little bit? The only thing you have to remember, everyone, is whenever you're doing this, is wherever you have another leaf on top of another leaf, wherever that top leaf comes, you're going to have a shadow underneath there. See, whenever you have something laying on top of something, can you see the shadow in the monitor there? Yeah, you're going to have a shadow right there. So when you have leaves together like this, just remember your darks are going to go under here, right here. And then as you go out, the light's coming this way. Your light's probably going to be over in here. It could be on the edges there too. So then you have your darks, your medium. Medium probably be on this bottom half, because it's going to be away from the light, and your lighter color is going to be right up here. Okay, and this will be a little bit deeper color too. I could even add blue right there. This one over here, that's what we did here. We have the dark right here, which is the poinsettia petals are over that. So I put in the shadow color right here. Okay, the light's coming this way, so it's coming from the left. Your lightest color would be right here. So you've already got the dark and the light side. The rest of this is going to be a medium tone over here. And you can just change it up any way you want to. I can come back and re-enter some of those colors lightly. Let's go this direction here. Like that. Maybe I want a little bit of this green here. Look at that bright green. I can come back and fiddle with this. This has been setting overnight, so. But see how I can come back in and add other colors to that if I decide I want to touch that up a little bit. And see, this is the back half. Now, whenever we do the stem, yeah, the stems is going to be rough because you really need a chisel edge on that. Now, I have a little brush here that I use quite a bit. It's called a Dorothy Dent Small Detail. It's a number 4. And again, this is the Mongoose Sable brush. And look at the difference on the chisel edges there. If I take this brush and I take this brush, look at the difference on the chisel edge there. Let's see, let me go this direction. Look at that. Okay, so whenever I laid in this stem, I blocked in burnt sienna on the back side because the light's coming this way up from the left. Just put a line of burnt sienna. Then I put a line of the sap green in the middle. And then I put a line of the light green on the outside. And then I took my brush on a chisel edge and I just chalk blended these colors into the other colors. Then when I wanted the highlight color, I loaded up a little bit of white with a little bit of yellow on a chisel edge, and I went past my line to make that little highlight line, and I just chop blended and put that line in. You don't want to put it directly on top of your paint because then it would turn that paint to a medium color instead of a light color. And then I came back and I added the dark underneath the stems there, again making that stem a little bit whiter, not going on top of the wet paint, but right next to it. So again, I was blocking in color. The bottom here is just a little bit of white for that. Go ahead and add all your little veins that are in your leaves. And I could come back and I could take this brush. See, I had a little brown on that brush. So I could come back and that brown could come up here. I could have a little bit of brown. See how much better this brush works for the chisel edge on it. There we go. So if I wanted a little brown, in other words, I could load up a little bit of the burnt sienna, just blot it. I could come back. See, and I could, I hope you can see that my hand isn't in the way. And I could just randomly add a little bit of the brown on some of these veins. There we go. See, so that one makes that one a little bit different than these over here. Yeah, I can add a little brown on that. Love this color, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is a beautiful color. Alright, so there we have all the little veins and everything. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and come back and we'll do all of our poinsettia petals. I'm going to do this in pink. Pink's one of my favorite colors, so we're going to do pink poinsettias instead of the red ones. So that is how you lay in and block in your color. This is, I hope you enjoyed the color book painting. It's such an easy thing to do. If you're a beginner, you will absolutely love it. For those of you that are acrylic painters, yes, you can do this type of thing with your acrylics. The only thing is you need to paint faster, and you've got about 5 minutes of open time to do each one of your leaves. But you'd lay them in the same way, block them in, fuse them together, don't use very much paint, and once it starts setting up and drying with acrylic, you would have to totally let it dry before you come back in and start messing with it, because it will pull up your paint. That's the only difference to where oil, you can come back and piddle with it. This is still damp. It's damp to the touch, but you could see how I came back and added more color into these, and you can do that as long as you don't paint real thick, and we're not painting thick here. All right, everyone, I will see you whenever we start doing our poinsettias. I can't wait. I love to paint in beautiful pinks and everything, and we have some really pretty colors in this paint kit that we're doing. All right, I'll be back in a few.